out here from the American Digital Network studio where we continue our preseason coverage by taking a look at Cincinnati. The Bearcats have been one of the most consistent teams in college football in the last decade, as UC has won 5 conference titles and made 9 bowl appearances in the last 10 years. Head coach Tommy Tuberville has every reason to believe that a 6th league championship could be in order in 2016. Cincinnati went 7-6 last season, propelling them into their 5th consecutive bowl game. Along the way, the Bearcats enjoyed the best average attendance in program history and unveiled an $86 million renovation to Nippert Stadium, adding to one of the better home field advantages in the nation. Cincinnati has many of the pieces in place for another run at the conference championship, including 2 veteran quarterbacks who helped the Bearcats average nearly 560 yards per game in 2015. Sophomore Hayden Moore enters preseason camp at number 1 on the depth chart, but the Bearcats also have a proven performer in Gunner Kiel, who looks to get back to form after missing most of the spring. Talented running backs Mike Boone and Tion Greene will take on a greater role as the Bearcats replace their top 6 wide receivers from last year. Cincinnati will need to be more opportunistic on defense to contend this fall after the Bearcats ranked 124th nationally in turnover margin and sacks last season. All-conference linebacker Eric Wilson and safety Zach Edwards are the key men on defense, while the Bearcats special teams unit is in great shape with 2-time all-conference kicker Andrew Gantz and punter Sam Garachi back in 2016. And helping us take an even closer look at Cincinnati, we'll be joined next on Skype by the radio voice of the Bearcats, Dan Hoard. Stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the ADN. We're breaking down Cincinnati football today and are joined on Skype by the radio voice of the Bearcats, Dan Hoard. Great to have you on the show with us. Tommy Tuberville's group usually has high expectations heading into the fall. Just 2 seasons ago, they took a share of the conference title, but last year took a step back in the win column. What was the biggest struggle they faced last season?
No mystery on that one. It was turnovers, specifically turnover ratio. They gave it away 33 times. They took it away 14 times. That's a minus 19 turnover ratio, which was 3rd from the bottom in college football. They were very good offensively. They moved it up and down the field. They scored 37 points a game, but they gave away the ball too much. That's the thing they have to fix in 2016.
Back at Media Day, Coach Tuberville talked quite a bit about the quarterback competition. 3 guys competing for the job, and the beginning of last year's starter Gunner Kiel sitting in that 3rd spot. Have you heard or seen how that battle is panning out?
The battle continues. They have another scrimmage coming up this weekend. After that scrimmage, Coach Tuberville says he's likely to name a starter. He would like to have a number 1 guy in place for the final couple of weeks of practice for the opener on the 1st. But right now, it's still a 3-person battle. Gunner Kiel back. It's his year. Hayden Moore played quite a bit last year as a redshirt freshman. He has probably practiced the most with the ones so far. And then you have a redshirt freshman named Ross Trail, very talented. So it still could be any of those 3. I would say if I had to handicap it right now, at least in my opinion, Hayden Moore is probably on top, but that could change this weekend.
Last year, the amount of depth and talent at the wide receiver position seemed too good to be true at times. Who will be the key playmakers and weapons this season for whoever that starting quarterback ends up being?
Well, they had 6 seniors last year, and 4 of the 6 are in NFL camps. And of the 2 guys that aren't, Shaq Washington, the university's all-time leading receiver, is that guy. So it was an unusual group, maybe the deepest wide receiver group of any school in the country. About the only guy back that most Cincinnati fans would be familiar with is Nate Cole. He played quite a bit last year, even with the 6 seniors, and at least has some career stats that would register. And then after that, you've got a lot of young guys. I would say the next guys on the list are probably Khalil Lewis, who played a little bit last year, and then Devin Gray, who's a junior college transfer. And then you have quite a few young freshmen, redshirt freshmen, and true freshmen that will get the opportunity to get on the field this year.
Playing in a tough East Division where it seems like several teams could contend to place themselves in that championship game in December, what will be the key for Cincinnati to achieve that goal?
Two keys. Number one, what I start turnover ratio. They absolutely have to cut down their turnovers and force more turnovers. That's number one. And then secondly, they have to be better on defense. Very good defensive team 2 years ago in Coach Tuberville's first year as the head coach. They've taken a step backward the last couple of years, and I think this year he feels like he's got the talent and experience that's been lacking. They started 10 freshmen on defense at various points last season. Those guys took their lumps as they tried to learn the system. Now that they've got snaps under their belt, I expect the defense to be much better this year.
All right, Dan, thanks a lot for taking the time today to talk to us. Dan's broadcasting the Bengals game later, so we appreciate you joining the show.
My pleasure, anytime.
All right, here's a look at the Bearcats' opening schedule for the 2016 season. Week 1, they open up at home against UT Martin before hitting the road to Indiana to take on Purdue. Then it's back home to Nippert for 3 straight games, first against the defending conference champions Houston, then Miami of Ohio, before welcoming the East Division preseason favorites USF to Cincinnati. Thanks for tuning in with us here at the ADN. I'm Haley Outen.